So my presentation is titled Rise of Mobility in Asia Pacific. When I say mobility, we are in an unprecedented transition from being an automotive-centric region to a mobility-centric region, which means that gone are the days when to go from place A to place B, you're just going to use your own vehicle. And that vehicle is likely to be IC engine driven. We are now going into more modern solutions. We are going into shared solutions, and that is what my presentation is going to talk about. So this is a brief content of my presentation. First, I'm going to talk about acceleration of electrification. And in my Asia Pacific presentation, I'm not going to talk about China because that is known to be #1 market. So I'm going to talk about other markets like Japan, other markets like Indonesia, other markets like Thailand. So that's what is my acceleration of electrification going to go about. Then I'm going to talk about second biggest trend that is in the region, which is shared mobility. This region is also a birthplace for two unicorns, Grab and Gojek, and they are basically driving the shared mobility agenda, which I'm going to explain. Then I'm going to talk about challenging paradigms for connected vehicles, and then exploring innovations on last mile delivery and new paradigms. All of these are very closely linked. Yes.
Excuse me, there's a bit of an echo for the audience. Do you have by any chance two screens, two hop-in screens?
No, I have only one screen that is open. Okay, is this better?
It is from my side. Okay.
Is this better?
Yeah, it looks better. It sounds better. Thank you so much, Vivek.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about the agenda that I just mentioned, and my whole objective of this presentation is to make sure that the audience is completely updated about the latest trends in Asia Pacific about all the mobility solutions. So let's look at electrification. I have outlined various trends that are trending globally, but the trends that are very important as far as Asia Pacific is concerned is resilience of EVs in COVID. We have seen globally that even during COVID pandemic, EVs haven't really declined as much. EVs have in fact grown from strength to strength, and we find similar trends happening in Asia Pacific market as well. The second trend that is most important is a lot of startups. So there are EV-focused startups that are coming up throughout the region, and these are companies that are like first-generation automakers, and they're actually producing EVs that are being sold for special purposes. They may be cars, they may be the fleets which are used for delivery of vehicles, so on and so forth. And most importantly, two-wheelers, as we mentioned, and I have a slide dedicated on that. So electric two-wheelers with a very unique business model of battery swapping is also another important development in Asia Pacific region. Looking at it globally, growth in the EVs is unprecedented. We are likely to see from 2019 to 2025 a growth of about 33% at a CAGR level in electric vehicles market. China is likely to remain the single largest market, and it's likely to be followed by Europe and North America. We look at Asia Pacific also as a part of Chinese market. Now, to understand the entire acceleration of electrification, we need to look at not just the vehicles on road, because that is going to be a result of what is the infrastructure that is going to come into place. And that's why I've dedicated this slide for infrastructure, which is mainly, if you can see the charging infrastructure, Japan, South Korea are the leaders. There are 22,000 charging points that are installed in Japan, followed by South Korea, which is about 9,500. We also track and we also update about what are these charging points and how these charging points are likely to add to the entire fleet of the vehicle, which is which charging infrastructure is applicable for what kind of vehicle. So as you can see on the right side of my screen, we have a majority of the chargers that we are looking at are DC chargers, 7,500, and they are basically Tesla, Shedemo, and these kind of. So these are the operators that we have highlighted in Asia Pacific. As we can see, most of these countries, now I'll also highlight some of these countries like Singapore, Thailand, which do not appear very high as far as the charging infrastructure is concerned. However, the entire strategy of these countries is to focus on promoting electric vehicles. Singapore has announced that by the year 2040, they will ban all the IC engine vehicles to be sold in Singapore. And for those who know Singapore, every 10 years there is a churn in the vehicle. So by the year 2050, it is likely that the entire Singaporean market, which is about the total population is about 800,000 to a million vehicles, is likely to be a completely electric vehicle market. When you talk about electric vehicles, that is a very significant market, although the total market size is very small. Hyundai have set up a plant, and they are looking at making this into a base and sell electric vehicles from Singapore. Thailand has taken a export-oriented approach, and they are moving very rapidly as far as electric vehicles are concerned. So electrification is a very important trend as far as Asia Pacific is concerned. Then let me focus a little bit on electric two-wheelers. Now, electric two-wheelers is what started off in Taiwan through Gogoro, which is based on battery swapping, and that has made this company Gogoro very successful, is going to rapidly transform into rest of the Southeast Asian markets. Now, Southeast Asian markets consisting of Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand are one of the largest two-wheeler markets across the world. 80% of the world's two-wheelers get sold in Asia Pacific region, and therefore electric vehicle as a trend becomes extremely important for us to watch out. What happens is these electric two-wheelers are likely to be part of the fleet which are focused on delivering vehicles. With the rise of e-commerce, the last mile delivery is becoming a very extremely important segment, and for that segment, electric two-wheeler is becoming extremely important. For milk run vehicles, for the milk run applications, electric two-wheelers are becoming extremely important. So rise of B2B fleets such as express deliveries and shared solutions are extremely important, and those are likely to see a rapid growth in Asia Pacific market. What we also see is rise of millennial customers, Gen Z customers, who are likely to adopt electric two-wheeler as their vehicle of choice. All this is being driven by transformation into and focus on greener energy, which traditionally this region is not really known for. Then let me move to shared mobility. This is also another important fleet applications. So there is a decisive shift which is occurring from ownership to usership, and that's where probably the fleets, of course, owned by companies as well as owned by fleet operators, is very important. On the urbanization side, there is a focus towards building public transportation in most of the Asia Pacific cities, and because of which, for the completing the first mile to last mile connectivity, fleets are becoming very important. And finally, advancement of digitalization, another trend that is likely to give rise to a shared mobility solution. Most of the customers in this region are equipped with smartphone, with data connection, and therefore they have an easy access to a shared fleet, any shared solution that you can have in the market. So all of these put together is going to give rise to evolution of shared mobility. Just to draw a comparison between Europe, North America, and Asia Pacific. So in this particular comparison, what I can say is ride-hailing applications are probably the most important applications as far as Asia Pacific is concerned. There are local giants like Grab, like Gojek, which are offering diversified services such as food delivery, financial services, and delivery of almost everything. So the way this market has evolved, Asia Pacific market has evolved, is quite different than their European and North American counterparts. It's also sought after solution, which is DRT, and which is again offered by the same mobility solutions. When you have a particular demand in a particular region, and as we are moving from a personal mobility to a public transportation, point-to-point mobility that is demand responsive is becoming extremely important, and that is what is being banked on, and that is what being seen as one of the important applications in days to come. Another peculiar application and peculiar business case that I want to share is both Grab and Gojek are not just into transportation logistics. They don't just own the fleets, but they're also active players in many other areas such as shopping, such as entertainment, such as payments. Grab is actually they have launched Grab Wallet, which is actually competing with the currency, and the acceptance of Grab Wallet in most of the points of purchase is extremely high. What this means is the fleet companies that are dominant in the region are not just looking at fleet as vehicles and transportation, but are also looking at a diversified area that they are likely to connect and that they are likely to offer services in. We don't see this kind of innovation in most of the other countries, and therefore we believe that this is a very peculiar innovation that is in this region. As you can see, Indonesia is one of the biggest markets. That's where both these companies are fighting neck to neck, and that's where they have the entire array of services that are offered. And payment services, on the other hand, are offered in very limited markets. Then I'll talk about the connectivity of the vehicles and connected vehicles. That is, again, another important trend in this market. I just mentioned that the customers in this region are very mobile savvy, have smartphone penetration is very high, data penetration is very high. However, that does not reflect very well on connected vehicles. The penetration of connected vehicles is extremely low. That is because most of the cases, you don't have a clear application of connected vehicles. So trends such as vehicles as marketplace hasn't really taken off, or car as a vehicle for health is not really taken off. You don't have very high open platforms. So these are global trends that are likely to enter into Asia Pacific market as we go along. So let me focus on, again, comparative analysis of Asia Pacific. So as you can see, Asia Pacific is still not a market that has reached high level of maturity in terms of connected application, except for navigation and infotainment. So these are very basic rudimentary application as far as connected vehicles are concerned, and only those applications have reached high maturity services. The second sought after applications are safety and security of the vehicle. Most of the connected vehicles applications are actually used in the high-end vehicles, where safety, security of the vehicle, and remote services, these are probably the next of the block. So as you can see, when you're talking about fleet in Asia Pacific, connected solutions is probably the most important growth area that the fleet customers will look at. As the fleets become more and more connected, the adaptation of fleet as a solid alternative to owned vehicles will actually take place. Next on the block, where EV specific or maintenance and convenience related connected services are simply not available, and those would be available as we progress and as connected vehicle solutions become more and more available into this region. Then I'll also quickly talk about last mile delivery solutions. This region has seen explosion of e-shopping. And because of e-shopping, the last mile delivery is becoming extremely important application for all types of fleet. Of course, autonomous delivery solutions like drones are still not available, but warehouses are becoming more and more automated. Also, Uberization of last mile delivery. We have seen a solution. We have seen during peak of the lockdown period, the fleet of taxis was used to deliver the shopping deliveries. Grocery deliveries were done through the taxis, which was again looked at as Uberization of last mile delivery. So when you look at last mile delivery, what we find is there is a very high level of innovation that is happening. So for now, you have a warehouse and a van or a two-wheeler that does the fulfillment, and verified delivery happens only in the homes or offices. But what we are seeing more likely to happen, and we have already started seeing signs of the last innovations in last mile delivery, is number one, how the fulfillment happens. So crowdsourcing is very rampant. There are a lot of startups like GoGoVan, GoGoX, which are doing crowdsourcing of last mile delivery. We have started seeing electric fleets which are into last mile delivery. Drones are not yet common, delivery bots are not yet common, but there are another type of delivery which is milk run of lockers that is also very common. In every office building, in every condo, we have lockers which are used as the last mile delivery solutions, and which completely changes the kind of fleet that gets used for last mile delivery. You can actually increase the size of the last mile delivery vehicle, and you can actually use any other kind of fleet, not just the two-wheelers, but or pickup vehicles or any kind of mid-size vehicle can be used as a last mile delivery solution. So what does the future hold for us? Okay, so what we look at is business models are getting reshaped in the entire mobility value chain. Increasingly, what we will see in Asia Pacific is data monetization will take off. As I mentioned, car as a marketplace is still not dominant. That is another trend that we see as happening. Vehicle subscription services. This is again a very important application where not yet common, but this is where the fleet operators, this is where a large fleet operators can play a very important role, where customers, instead of purchasing the vehicle, will subscribe to the vehicle on a monthly or a quarterly basis. This solution fits in between an hourly rental versus a long-term 3 years, 4 years rental. So these are all the applications that are likely to take off, along with mega apps and evolving business models in EV charging. So exciting days lie ahead of us in Asia Pacific. The fleets have a big role to play in this, and the overview of electric vehicles, connected vehicles, delivery, last mile delivery solutions will actually help you to understand how your fleet strategies should be taken forward in Asia Pacific. This brings me to the end of my presentation. I thank all the organizers for inviting me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.